What's going on? Back again with another Cold War and Vanguard Zombies video. Just want to talk about the newest rumor slash theory slash leak that has hit YouTube and Twitter, and it's about a multiverse coming to the zombie storyline. I don't know, I don't remember specifically if it is just saying it's Cold War with the Dark Ether or in Vanguard, because I guess up until this point we don't even know if technically Vanguard's gonna have a Dark Ether story or how that's gonna work in. If it's gonna be something maybe similar to Warzone, where a nuke event or some sort of event happens, and then if um, flashbacks to 20 years earlier or 30, 40 years earlier, whatever it is, into World War II. In my opinion, it might be something like that, but again, the newest rumor or leak that's coming out is that it's gonna have where, for some reason, I guess the cyclotron maybe in DLC 4 is gonna send us to another Dark Ether, and that's exactly what I want to talk about. Is the fact that um, we don't know what's true, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves and things that I hate is people might, I don't want to say they find the source material, but people start coming up with theories and they start selling it off as fact or leaks just for clicks and views. And it all reminds me back, I don't know how old you are, but it reminds me of the saying that people have been saying for decades now. How is it that aliens and UFOs always visit like the stupidest people with like um, no common sense or no education, whatever, that every person who tells an abduction story is like the most uh dumbest, like fraudest, scammest person in the world. How comes is it that these leaks always hit the people that are the biggest clickbaiters in the Call of Duty zombies community? And that's the part that makes me very iffy about this quote unquote leak or whatever. What I think it's just a theory. I think people just saw the red um, portal and outbreak, and then the purple portal and outbreak, and just kind of made a theory. And then, of course, nobody's gonna, which is kind of not their fault. So I can kind of maybe side with them in the fact that the obvious one downfall or the biggest nuisance in the zombies community is people just crap on each other's theories. So instead of now doing a theory, everybody's going to sell it off as a fact. They have inside information. Um, that they have an inside person, but in fact it's probably just a theory. Kind of what happened with Matter Toten and um, you know and Kino de Toten and stuff like that, where a lot of it is people say they have an inside information, it's leaked, but in fact it's just somebody that has a theory. I know with the whole Kino thing with me, I just sold it off as um, fan fiction and fan theory that I made, that I would want Kino de Toten and stuff like that. But in reality, everybody probably saw that video and copied it off and said, "Hey, it's coming definitely in DLC 3 or whatever it was in Berlin." But in reality, just to kind of give a backstory, it was just fan fiction, fan theory stuff that I made, and people probably believed it. And it's probably the same thing like this, where um, nobody's gonna watch a video about a fan theory, but more people are gonna watch and click a video about um, leaks or fake leaks or inside information. I have an insider and stuff like that. So, but with all that being said, the only thing that I want to mention is it does fit into the source material, and that's another elephant in the room. And I actually talked to the maker of Bioshock, Ken Levine, about this topic, because he had a podcast where he talked about um, movies and video games being very similar and inspiration coming from each other. Movies are made based on video games, and video games are based on movies. So if you know the source material for the whole Dark Ether, cyclotron, or particle accelerator storyline, you'll know that it comes from a movie. I'm not going to tell you what movie that is, because that's again what I talked to Ken Levine about on Twitter. Is like, how do you let people know that you solve something and figure it out without it causing problems and issues? It's almost like an inner struggle conflict. Like, do I let people know, hey, this is based on this movie, or a movie's based on another movie, or a movie's based on a video game? how do you let people know stuff without it ruining it for the devs, without people making clickbait, like maybe what's going on now with the Dark Ether? If you know the source material, the source movie, you'll know that in this movie, whenever they fired the particle accelerator, it was kind of a crapshoot or roulette or Russian roulette in a way where you don't know where you're going to end up. When you smash particles together, you don't know what the final outcome is. You just know that smashing particles together is going to open a gateway, but you don't know which gateway it's going to open. If it's going to open it to hell, heaven, purgatory, or whatever, um, lore or legend that you want to use, or it could open it to a world with everything's made out of gold. It could open it to a world everything's made out of diamond, everything's made out of like fire, ice. So you don't know what the multiverse holds, and it's all part of Monty's multiverse theory. I know Monty obviously didn't use a particle accelerator, but unless he did, and we don't know it, but the whole idea is, Monty was the one that mentioned the multiverse and infinite possibilities, infinite versions of yourself. So instead of using Monty's, multiverse where he can magically just go to any place that he wants, now this kind of lets us choose where we want to go. Maybe visit some old friends. Maybe visit different versions of ourselves. Maybe something happened in the past that you want to kind of go to that version of it, or another version where this stuff happened different in the past. Let's say you lost a leg in the war. You want to go visit yourself and go see yourself with two legs, and the war never happened, and you never got hurt. You never lost any body parts. But then it gets into the idea of, do you switch yourself with that person? What you would have to do is kill yourself in that dimension or multiverse version of yourself, and you now live out that storyline. Let's say you want, or like maybe it would probably be, that was probably kind of a bad example, but let's say somebody that dies, but you want to live out in another universe or multiverse where that person didn't die. Do you now kill off the person that lives in that multiverse, and you take over their life, so you could be with the person that died in your dimension or version and stuff like that? But again, these are all stuff that like I knew, I guess, almost years and months ago. But like, how do you let people know stuff without it? Like, I could have obviously clickbaited people, probably like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and sold it off as like, hey, I have inside information that our storyline is going to be about the cyclotron and stuff like that, rather than it just being a fan theory where people aren't going to listen to fan theories because everybody wants their theory to be the best. So kind of the loophole to all that is to just make it a lie and say, hey, I know this person that works at Treyarch, or I work with the devs, and the devs, want are thinking about making the story into a multiverse, and there's a red version with based on hell. But in reality, maybe they just kind of took a guess, or again, it's a theory, but they're just selling it off as they're having inside information because it's going to get them more clicks and views and subscribers, and it's going to make them look cool. But that's kind of just the backstory to it, kind of the inside, in its own like inside information of what really goes on in the zombies community, where people don't really have inside information. And again, it reminds me of stuff that's been talked about in the 80s, ironically, is that like, why do people that are like the dumbest, stupidest people get visited by the UFOs, and they give them all the information about technology, and it's always somebody who lives like in a trailer park and uneducated and can't read or write. But they're the ones that I guess have this crazy imagination that they come up with these stories. And it's the same thing. It's the people in the zombies. It's always the same person in the zombies community. And then when it doesn't come true, it was obviously just a theory. When it comes true, or it doesn't come true, then they just say, hey, Treyarch changed the storyline, or it was a different leaker and stuff like that that gave them the information. But in reality, it's all just fan theories, and Treyarch maybe just picks what they like, what theories sound the best, and stuff like that, which it's not bad. And I'm sure Treyarch doesn't care. It's just one of my pet peeves when you put a lot of work into stuff, solving stuff, and then some idiot that just makes a fake clickbait video gets more views and subs and stuff like that. So anyways, I just want to leave it at that. If that makes any sense, if you're confused, let me know. But that should clear up like some of the leaks and fan theories and stuff like that. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.